Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Chris King, and I am the CEO and founder of Lightning Travel Recruitment. I am joined today by the wonderful Tina Blunsdon. Hello, Tina.
Hi, Chris. How are you?
Do you know what? I'm doing great today. How are you doing?
Yeah, really good too. Thanks.
Brilliant, brilliant. So thank you so much for your time today and joining me on this webinar.
Oh, you're welcome. Been looking forward to doing this.
Brilliant. Me too, me too. I'm so excited for everyone to see what we've been talking about for the last couple of weeks. So do you want to introduce the topic of the webinar and tell everyone a bit about who you are and what it is you do?
Yeah, great. So this webinar is called Smart Home Working. I mean, you forgot what it was called then. Smart Home Working. And I have got a business called Coaching for Growth, and where I go into companies, and I also work with individuals with leadership coaching, life coaching, career coaching, and I help them through all their stages of whatever it's they're going through.
Brilliant. And the business is Coaching for Growth.
Coaching for Growth. That's
You
right.
heard it here, guys. It's Coaching for Growth. Fantastic. So we wanted to make this webinar slightly related to the travel industry as much as possible. Obviously, if you are viewing this webinar from different industries, it will all still be completely relatable, but we want to make it a little bit towards the travel industry.
That's right. All the
So,
answers are diversifying. You can do it to anything.
exactly that, exactly that. We're pivoting, one might say. So obviously, for those that don't know, the travel industry is one where people are either totally used to working from home. If they're an independent agent, they're probably working from a coffee shop in Bali as we speak, or it's an alien concept outside of working when traveling. I know your son works in the travel industry, Tina.
Yes, that's right.
He'd be used to working probably from a hotel room, but wouldn't really know about working from his front room or kitchen.
No, it was a big shock to him when he had to work from home for the first few weeks after coming back from abroad, and then suddenly he's lockdown.
Absolutely, absolutely. What would be your kind of top tips to cover both sides of the spectrum? So for advice for people that are used to working from the coffee shop, but now might find themselves not being able to go to the coffee shop. And also for those that work in the travel industry that might be desk-based or only used to kind of remote working occasionally.
Yeah, well, all these strategies I'm going to tell you can work for either, and they work really well. And it's just sort of changing your mindset again. Like in our last webinar, we talked about change. So it'd be a good thing to have a look at that because it goes into more depth. But I'm just sort of touching on sort of the key things again for this one.
Perfect.
So it's about finding yourself a comfortable space to work in. Like my son's in a house share of 6 and they all work now from home, and it's finding somewhere that you can work. So if you've got a family, it's finding a room that's safe for you and you've got the children running in, so lock the door, put a sign on the outside, making sure people know your work time as well. Especially if you're used to going out and just doing your own thing and not having to think about anybody, you've got to start thinking about other people in your environment, which is really important. So it's categorizing right what time you need to work and what time other people need to work if they're still working from home.
Brilliant.
One of the other key things is to sort of stay hydrated. It's so important that you've got drinks, obviously not just caffeine, because you don't get hydrated by caffeine. Yes, we've got our water. Or I've got a mint tea, which is obviously no caffeine.
Love a mint tea.
So keep yourself hydrated throughout the day because you get so used to just sitting in front of your desk. If you're in a different environment, if you're a coffee shop, you would order a cup of tea or coffee or whatever as you want. If you're working in an office, you just go and make yourself a drink that way. When you're at home, you don't seem to go out the door. You just seem to stick where you are. And also the other one is find when you've got a space, make sure it's not where you relax or where you go to bed. Try not to do it in your bedroom if possible. Because you sleep. If you sleep and work in the same place, your body doesn't sort of finds it hard to separate the two. So you could constantly keep working. You go to sleep, you're in rest because your computer's there. You're going to keep on working. Like me the other night, getting up at 3 a.m. because it's all in my head.
So
and then the other thing sorry.
On that, just a quick question. So as you can see, this is my bedroom. I work from my bedroom all the time, but I've actually found that I bought a standing desk. which changes
Brilliant
the
idea.
dynamic a bit, because it means that I'm not sitting in my bed and I don't have the thoughts and feelings to do that.
Yeah,
Is that something you advise as well for people that might not necessarily have different rooms from them?
definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely, because it's a different feeling, isn't it? A different motion. You're stood up doing yours, so you're not on your bed where you sleep. It has to be some sort of divide, and also sort of keep going out and taking breaks.
Yeah.
Don't stay in your bedroom all the time. You've got to
Perfect.
have that separation throughout
I
the day.
bought recently a certain branded watch that gives me a
Mhm.
little bit of a buzz every time I haven't moved around for a little while.
Good. Yeah, give you a big one. So, oh, okay, I've got to move again. And
Exactly.
that's, yeah. And it goes into my other tips as well, which is the LinkedIn is exercise. You know, and get yourself in the right frame of mind, which I'll go into a bit more about structure and routine in a minute. But yeah, exercise is the key. Go and take a break, and have one sort of in the middle of the day, 5 minutes in the morning, do a bit of star jumps, get yourself
Yeah.
all energized. Okay, but it doesn't matter where you've worked before in the travel industry, abroad or home, you have to get these sort of things in place, really.
Brilliant. I touched on it just then, but it's a good question to ask for everyone. When I first started working from home, and for everyone that doesn't know me, I work from home 90% of the time. The other times I try and go to a pub. They offer free Wi-Fi and very good coffee.
Yeah.
Lots of them do. But when I first started working from home, I'd open my laptop in bed. I wouldn't plan on working from bed, but before I knew it, it was 10 o'clock and I hadn't so much as got up, done anything. So have you got any advice around creating kind of structure and routine so bad habits like that don't creep in?
Definitely. What you said there about in your bed is so key. First thing I put in mine is limit distractions.
Mm.
So one is your bed. Yeah. Move away, your standing desk is perfect. TV as well, cover it over if you need to. So you're not thinking, oh, just going to catch up on the news. And that's one thing I would also say at this time being, stay away from media, the news to do with the coronavirus, because it puts you in that negative mindset and you sit there for ages watching it and want to keeping up, as well as sort of notifications on your phone as well. Try and limit what you've got notifying you as you're coming through. And also family wanting you. So if you're in a house and sort of someone's knocking, oh, do you want a cup of tea? And they're distracting you and you're filming a webinar, you know, making sure people around you know what you're doing as well. If you don't want to disturb, put a note on your door again or something like that, just to sort of limit that. So that's the first thing you need to do. The other one is schedule a day. Okay, so set your phone, you get an alarm or whatever you have to get up at the same time every day, as if you were going to an office.
Okay.
So for me, it's 7 o'clock. I get up 7 o'clock every day. And then you want to try and get yourself work ready. So do positive mental attitude. So what's really good is if you do sort of 10 minutes of exercise, do some positive reading, eat breakfast. Most importantly, get dressed. Don't stay in your PJs or your shorts or your nightie, whatever it is you're dressing out, because you're in that relaxed mode. If you're in those sort of clothing, getting changed into something, even if it's joggers and a t-shirt, you're changing, so it's the action, and you're telling your mind, I'm getting work ready. Okay, so it's really important to get work ready. Stick to sort of a similar schedule, so you have a break in the morning for a cup of tea to get hydrated, glass of water, your lunch, try and stick to a lunch break, and also finish time. Try and set the finishing a certain time, because it's so easy when you're working from home, you just keep on working. Someone said, tea's ready. Yeah, I'll be there in a minute. Yeah, I'll be there in a minute. It's in the fridge. You have it later. You know, you can't. You've got to stick to a schedule. Otherwise, you will get worn out. Your mind would be overloaded with information. You just want to keep working, And the more you keep working, not having proper breaks and structure, the less productive you are.
Brilliant. I mean, I've got a quick question. What I found when I work from home is when you take out the office distractions, which you don't realize how much time of your day that takes up. I found that I was getting more done in a shorter amount of time, but then also kind of beating myself up internally that I had to work till 6 o'clock or I had to do this. So have you got any advice about, in terms of scheduling, if people find that their schedule is changing based on working from home, what positive things they can put in those schedules, and how to almost beef it up a little bit.
Okay, so if you have got yourself, so right, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. So set yourself a goal line. Okay, I need to complete these tasks. And if you completed those tasks early, use it as a reward. It doesn't matter if you finish early because you've done everything you want to. So what I always say is set 3 tasks, your top priorities. And if you've got fillers and you fill up, say you're going to work till 6, and you've done your top 3, give yourself some nice jobs to do. If you still want to think, no, I want to work till 6, give yourself some sort of reward as well for making that. So it could be, right, after this, I'm going to go and watch my favourite program, makes me feel good, or spend time with the family or something. Okay, but you shouldn't beat yourself up if you finish early because you've done everything you want to do. And by having less distractions, your work mode and your concentration is better. So you will get more done. So you could say, okay, I'm finishing all my jobs by 5. I'm going to change my time till 5. Why do I have to work till 6?
Brilliant. Set up workout in the garden or in the front room and do an extra hours of exercise.
Exactly.
Perfect. Now, as well as looking at personal work from home advice, I wanted to touch upon the glorious topic of team management. We've all done it. I know my friends in the industry are having to manage teams that are all spread all over. A lot of people have gone home to their families at this time. And I know from my management days, there are systems like People HR, really good HR system, and Slack, which is a communication tool that can help. But what advice and tips can you give managers during this time?
Okay, well, the main thing is just what we said about knowing what your work staff are doing. So what I've been using as well is having like a Zoom or a Skype session every morning with your team. So, and it's finding out what they're doing. So each person tells you sort of their objectives for the day, any struggles they're having, and sort of who can help them, who can support them, and what they're doing. And it's just like a quick check-in. So when you walk into an office in the morning, normally you just check up with everybody naturally, and you're doing that. So just booking 15 minutes for all your team, and each person has a quick check-in, so you all know what you're doing. So that's so you've got an idea of the structure and everything that's going on.
Is there a name for
that? Check-in, just whatever. You can call it your own. You can have the team. What do the team want to call it? Get them to own it then as well. Yeah. Brilliant. Rather than having a title, get them to own it. The other one is having sort of, you have teams within the team, don't you? So you have group working teams. So get them to have sort of 2 or 3 sort of 30-40-minute check-ins as well. So where they're going with what they're doing, putting plans in place as well. So you have a whole team, and then you have your sub-teams. So they're all working, and that can all be fed back as well. And everyone to have an objective to a goal or a task pointed to the end of the week. So everybody's got an idea of what they're working from. So you may need to lead that and say you need to have an overarching goal that you want to do, and they can come to you with, right, I'm going to be doing X, Y, and Z to help reach that goal. So everybody buys in to the overarching objective that you want to win. The other one is winning shares. It's so important for everyone to know what's going on because they're also remote. That is one of the things that people, they're sat there in their room, whatever room, or stood up, just getting on with things. And that connection that people have had before isn't there, so it's really important. And going on what we've said before is about having a WhatsApp group. Okay, I've set one up, and we've put like asking quick questions or tips, or I thought of this, what does anybody else think? And it gets you away from emails, because everybody emails, and I don't know about you, but we've had more emails coming through because everyone's emailing, or Zoom meetings. So we set up a WhatsApp just for sort of the senior members, we did, but you can do it for anybody. What do you think about this? And you wouldn't always put that in. So that's a connection point again. And we share wins on that. It doesn't matter how small, making a new connection. Yeah, doesn't matter what it is.
So you'd almost have a kind of WhatsApp for personal side of things to keep that team camaraderie and the chat and maintain those relationships. and then
right.
maybe use Google Hangouts or Slack for any work quick questions, so it's an instant message. And then emails just for kind of like the big stuff that can't be
Yeah, the work.
implemented.
That's right. And it's having defining those, isn't it? It's just making sure that people are connected, because it's very isolating when you're working on your own. And the other thing is to have your one-on-ones as well, and keep the one-on-ones. You probably find you need more of those. And it doesn't all have to be work related. Just have a check in. How are you doing today?
Yeah.
And then listen. Active listening for managers is paramount. That you listen to what your staff are saying, read their body language, see how they are, because it is stressful working from home. The other thing as managers to be mindful as well is things take longer when you're working from home for some reason. And I think it's because you haven't got other people to feed off, get ideas, those creativity juices running, okay? And also communication is such a challenge. So it is finding what works for your team and listening to your staff's needs, which is so important in times like these.
Absolutely. And I mean, even whether we're talking about virtually online right now or in the office, one-on-ones are so important for teams. And I've seen some horror stories of people going, oh, I should do a one-on-one. And yes, you should. I know you just touched upon mental health there, and kind of in the previous webinar, and how this situation is affecting team members and on a personal and professional level. So it would be good to follow on and talk about how to keep a team engaged and supported while they work from home. I know you mentioned kind of WhatsApp and instant messaging, but do you have any other tips for keeping the engagement rate really high?
Do a company quiz, online quiz as well. They love that. And just social, make sure it's not connected with work, because have a drink. Because last night we were doing it with friends. We had drinks, we had snacks, and we were sort of chatting, and we played a game, the word game, and things like that. Just think of something that you can do and get somebody else owning it as well. Put it out there. I put it out there. Does anybody want to do a pub quiz? And there's one person, yeah, I love doing pub quizzes. And we set it all up, and we're going to be doing that. Okay. And it's all about the other way you can sort of engage your staff is get them to do some personal development. Yeah, so they're getting out there, they're doing something productive for them, not just for the company. It is for the company as well, but it's them, they own it, they want to go and do something. So is there a course that they've always wanted to do? Is there, because there's loads of free stuff out there, or very minimal cost at the moment as well. Is there sort of things that they've been to before, sort of functions, training sessions they can revisit and have some time for that? Because it's important they keep that going as well.
Brilliant. And that would kind of go on to what doing something positive in the day that you were speaking about earlier.
That's right.
For the travel industry, it could be writing the travel blog they've never had time to do, or learning a new language, or even volunteering right now, something that sparks joy, right?
Exactly, yeah. It's like the new language one is phenomenal, because that's really taken off, because everyone's stuck at home. So they're learning new skills that like my husband's always said, oh, I always want to learn Italian. Well, this is the opposite time for him. He's not furloughed yet, but he will be. And you can do all those things, can't you? So, and not, the other thing is as well, is letting your staff control their own schedules. Because everybody's life is different at home, and some people work better at night than they do in the mornings, because when they're at home rather than getting to go to an office or wherever around the world. So let them control their own schedules, but you also have those targets, and you know what's coming in and when they're working. And obviously when you're doing your Zoom community, think of the time. Don't always do it early in the morning. Think of when they're more beneficial for everybody. So it could be 9 o'clock rather than sort of 8 o'clock or whatever, when you will get working. But it is, and it's encouraging the staff to take time for them to exercise again, doing something they enjoy, giving feedback of what they've done as a family at home, or something positive, or what they've done for the community, whatever way it is helping them cope in these situations, as well as work if they're still working in these situations.
That's brilliant. I mean, I've always been a firm believer in giving as much support and power to staff as possible. So it's
Mm.
really interesting you picked upon that point that we kind of touched upon earlier about the scheduling.
Mm.
So you strongly believe that managers should be helping their staff by letting them have control of those schedules.
Yeah,
Uh,
definitely.
so they're not doing a 9 to 6 is dead, essentially, right?
Definitely, yeah. Because some people can't fit that in around their families once they've got a young baby at home,
Yeah, exactly.
you know, and you're not going to have quiet to think and do Zoom and all that. You know, when the baby's settled, you can work, or some people will carry on sort of during the day and again in the evening. And they fit it around. You know, there's two of you and your Wi-Fi goes down and one of you's got to be sort of doing Zoom. You've got to think about other people in your home. So as a manager, you have to let people adapt to be able to work for you or for the company at home is paramount, really.
Brilliant. So it's almost, as well as for managers, this is a really good advice for companies in how to engage and really support their staff, is being a bit more flexible than they would perhaps be in a desk job normally.
Exactly. Yeah. It's got to be flexible at these times. You can't get all the kids going out and play and go off. They're not going to school, are they? You know, it's not like a normal day because the flexi time and you bring that in and people work from home, but they know the children aren't going to be at home. They're going to be at school, or another partner is going to be out the office, or you're used to working together in an office space. You've got it set up. Not many people have that.
Brilliant. And I guess in terms of, for once this is over, there'll be a lot of companies that are reaching out to people like you, asking for advice, because the Pandora's box this is opening up is you've got people that might be changing their working schedules, might be working from home for the first time and loving it. And after this is over, it could be potentially quite hard for companies to reinforce those 9 to 6s and have those conversations about working from home. So how would companies get in touch with you for after this? Because I'm sure you've got some great tips.
I have. I've got lots more. And yes, I am working with a lot of people getting in touch with me at the moment. It's gone mad ever since we said we were going to do this as well. So I've got a presentation which I'm going to be sharing with everybody. And on the back is all my details, but you can find me on social media. You can find me on LinkedIn, and it's Tina Blunsdon, coaching for growth. Just put my details in there. They all come up.
Brilliant, brilliant. I mean, Tina, I can't thank you enough for taking the day to speak to me about what is a very relevant topic in the industry right now. So thank you for your time.
Oh, thank you, Chris, and thank you for asking me. It's been fantastic working with you.
Likewise, likewise. And everyone watching, we hope you enjoyed this video. Again, I'm Chris King. This lovely lady is Tina Blunsdon, and we wish you a fabulous day.